Avoiding mistakes during the selling process is key to getting the best price and a smooth sale. But many sellers make common mistakes that can delay the sale, lower their home's value, and might even stop the sale altogether. And that's why I'm doing this video. I'm going to walk you through the top 10 mistakes that sellers make without even realizing they're making them. So without further ado, here's the top 10 home selling mistakes in descending order. Number 10, neglecting curb appeal. Now when you overlook the curb appeal, you risk losing potential buyers' interest before they even make it to your front door. Now the exterior is like a preview of the home's overall condition. So when it's neglected, you're giving buyers doubts about how well that property is maintained. And think about things like overgrown bushes and cracked walkways and messy mailboxes or worn out paint on the front door or the trim. These are the details that add up and create doubts in the buyer's mind that that home has issues and buyers can't see all of them. And lastly, matching the style of the neighborhood. Now buyers often overlook that properties blend well within the surrounding homes. So if you're in an area where certain style of homes are common, consider matching that style to appeal to a broader buyer expectation. Number 9, ignoring necessary repairs. Instead of viewing repairs as an expense to put off, see them as an investment that can actually save you hassle and money down the road. Certain repairs hold more weight with buyers, particularly those affecting daily living. Now, for example, if you have a leaky faucet or a cracked tile, it might not seem like a big deal if you live there, but it can suggest that other parts of the home may not be in top shape either. So get them repaired even before you list that house for sale in the market, because buyers will often look at maintenance and repairs as an indicator of the overall home's value. And even these minor issues can lower the value in the buyer's mind. Now think of the hidden problems within your house. These are the things that you want to repair. And for roof repairs, even a few missing shingles can raise red flags. Potential buyers often see that the roof needs repairs and they think it's costly. So fixing the roof early can prevent them from negotiating a larger price reduction. Number 8, failing to stage the home. Now many sellers underestimate how important this step is. When a buyer walks in, they should feel like they're seeing a place that they could actually live in themselves. And you have to have this emotional connection with the buyer that they can feel. If not, the house is going to look like an empty shell to them. So staging creates a connection. And it's also going to influence how the buyers feel about the house. And feelings are important here. So when you stage a house for sale, highlight the best features for each room and try to present the entire property in a way that feels warm, inviting, and easy to imagine living there. Now, simple touches like decluttering, organizing, and placing a few pieces of furniture are super important. And staging doesn't have to be a huge expense for most houses. So if you're on a budget, consider staging the main areas first, like the living room, the kitchen, and the primary bedroom, since these are often the most important spaces in a buyer's eyes. And if you're selling a vacant home, staging is even more important. An empty house feels empty to them, and they might feel like they're struggling to imagine what their furniture will look like or how it's going to fit in each room. The key here is to help the buyer see the best version of this property, and that means a quicker and faster sale at a better price. Number 7 is bad photos. Now, we've all seen some bad photos of houses, but the photos of a house are the first thing that a buyer is going to see. So your photos got to stand out from everybody else's photos and grab attention for the right reasons, not the wrong ones. Look, buyers are scrolling through dozens and even hundreds of listings online, and before they decide which ones are even worth seeing in person. So many sellers make this mistake and they use low quality photos or don't put enough effort into thinking it out and how it's going to be presented. These are enough to make the buyers actually skip your listing without a second thought. And that's why you need to make sure your photos are staged and show the home at its best. First, good lighting is a must. Make sure it's a bright, sunny day out when you're taking these pictures. Avoid harsh shadows. Also stay away from using too much artificial light. Natural light will always work best, so try to shoot during the day when the sunlight fills those rooms. And let's say it's not enough sunlight coming into the house. So use a soft flash for lighting and filter darker areas without making it look artificial. Now we've all seen those artificial looking pictures. Don't do that either, because that's even worse. You want to present a true picture of what the house actually looks like. Because if they come in and they see something that's completely different, they're walking. So when it comes to framing each shot, a tripod height and angle can take care of the photos that are going to matter the most. So the thing to consider is the tripod should be at a good height and capture the right balance of floor and ceiling. As a general rule, we aim to slightly more floor than ceiling. It's where people live. And this helps create a ground without making ceilings seem too high or the room look too empty. Also, pay close attention to vertical lines in your photos, such as the wall edges or door frames and furniture lines. Now keep your camera level and avoid tilting it up and down. And if the camera is tilted, it's going to distort the room's shape. And we've all seen those distorted shaped rooms, right? They look terrible. The fisheye lens, that's no good. Symmetry and balance should be the prime focus. So try to center yourself in a room whenever possible and make the main elements like a sofa or tables evenly positioned within that frame. And this creates a sense of flow and proportion and makes the room look more organized. And if you're not competent in taking these quality photos yourself, make sure you hire a real professional photographer to do this. It's going to be a worthwhile investment, guys. Number 6, being prepared for showings. Now the reality is buyers often come by with little notice, so you got to be ready. And especially if you're trying to squeeze in as many showings as possible in a day, you might get squeezed in. You want to pick those showings up. So when they walk into a house that's cluttered or messy, it's hard for them to look past that. Now to avoid this, try to keep your home show ready at all times. And that means staying on top of daily cleaning, making beds, cleaning off the counters, and putting away any personal items. Also, try to minimize a strong sense of cooking smells or pet odors, because these can put off visitors as well. And when your home is always prepared for a showing, you're giving every buyer the chance to see it at its best, no matter when they stop by. Number 5, hiding major issues. Now, hiding a major issue in a home is a risky move, and it's only going to backfire because buyers eventually are going to find out these hidden problems. And when they do, it can damage trust, leaving them leverage to negotiate heavily or even walk away from the deal entirely. In fact, being upfront about major issues can actually work in your favor. And not only will you save yourself some legal liabilities, but you can also manage the buyer's expectations right from the start of the deal. Sometimes a buyer will appreciate the transparency and become more willing to negotiate fairly. And number 4 is willing to negotiate. Many sellers go into the selling process with a fixed idea of how much money they want to get. And they would say they need to get this amount of money for that house. But the reality is, a house will only sell for what a buyer in the market are willing to pay. The market sets the price based on demand, not your personal financial needs, guys. So if you're asking $1 million for a house that's barely worth $500,000, you're unlikely to get any serious offers from any buyers. So keep in mind that the real estate market is full of options, and buyers know when they have leverage. So you'll need to show a bit of flexibility to help that sale move forward. And flexibility doesn't mean that you agree with everything that the buyer wants. Instead, it's about finding a middle ground so that both sides are satisfied. For example, if you're not willing to lower the price, you could agree to handle certain repairs or help to cover part of the closing costs. And this approach often leads to a quicker sale when both sides feel like they've reached a fair outcome. Number 3, not considering timing. So if you try to sell your house during a slow market or outside typical peak seasons, your house might stick around on the market for a little while. And many sellers make the mistake of listing their property without thinking about market cycles. For example, spring and summer tend to be the busiest times for market, when most buyers are out looking for homes. More sellers are competing for that sale. And it's quite the opposite during the winter months when there's snow on the ground or it's super cold, right? It means it's less demand for your property during those seasons. So additionally, you want to consider the market conditions in your specific area. You want to ask yourself these questions. Is the real estate market hot right now? Are interest rates rising or falling? Are there new developments nearby that could affect property values in a positive or a negative way? Now, such factors could greatly influence how fast your house is going to sell and for how much. If the market's slow and you need to sell quickly, you're going to have to lower your price to stay competitive. Number 2, not hiring the right real estate agent. Now, choosing the right agent is one of the most important decisions that you make when you're selling a home. And I'm not just saying that because I'm a realtor. I'm telling you the numbers, and I see them every single day. So if you're going with a friend who's just got their license or you're trying to sell it yourself, that might not be the smartest choice. Just because someone has a real estate license does not mean that they have the experience or the local market knowledge that's needed to represent you. And I've seen this happen. If it's a friend, it can also put your personal relationship at risk if things don't go as planned. Look, an experienced realtor brings a lot to the table, and it's difficult to replicate that on your own. They have the expertise to market your home with a wider pool of buyers, making that property stand out in the crowd and attract serious offers. You can easily avoid costly mistakes that many for sale by owner sellers unknowingly make. So take your time when you're selecting an agent. It's more than just worth the investment. You want to look for someone with a solid track record in your local market, a proven history of successful deals. And if you want a serious sale, hire a professional. Number 1 is overpricing your home. Now, setting the price too high, it'll scare off some potential buyers, while going too low means that you're losing out on what your home's truly worth. So the key is to understand the market and price it right. In fact, pricing it right is often the difference between a house that sells in just a few weeks or one that sits for a few months without much interest. Just because a neighbor is asking $50,000 more for a similar house doesn't mean it's the right move for you, especially if your house is sitting there unsold for months. So think about your game plan. Pricing is all about what buyers are willing to pay for a house like yours in the current market. It's not what you ideally would want from the sale. Now, another thing to keep in mind is when you receive that first lowball offer, remember, this is all part of the process. Many buyers, they'll start low and they'll see where they can negotiate. And if your agent is skilled, they'll know how to guide these negotiations. Some buyers are just fishing. They want to get the best deal that they can. And if you were in their position, you're going to do the same thing. A low starting offer doesn't mean that you're always stuck with it. So there you have it, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. Be sure to hit that like button and let me know your thoughts below. I just want to know where you are and what you're doing. I'm Jerry with Jerry Pinkas Real Estate Experts. My real estate team is here to help you find your hidden gem and to avoid those pitfalls that are costly. So if you're thinking about buying or selling property here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, or anywhere in the United States, we can hook you up with your local expert. Give us a call at 843-839-9870. Our team has helped thousands and thousands of people successfully move in the past 20 years. And we have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. I just want to make sure you're making a smart decision. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video, or I'll talk to you soon. Take care, guys.